Thank you so much for watching. My name is Donna Feazell, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge television, radio, and podcast talk show. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, beginning at 1 p.m. Central Time as we get to ride home with you in the afternoon. You can find us on television close to Huntsville, Alabama, channel 182, and that's on Charter Communications. You can also find us on Abundance Television, that's worldwide, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Don't forget the podcast on thenewscasters.com. Another way you can find us is on the radio. It's a good old country station. They're the biggest one in South Carolina, WZLA. Make sure you tune in that way as well. Also, Facebook and all the social media sites. You couldn't get away from us if you tried, could you, John?
No, look, you're worldwide, and your presence is felt everywhere. So that
could be a good thing, that could be a bad
thing.
John Merrill is with me, his lifetime friend. And John was our former Alabama Secretary of State, did so many things, great things for the state of Alabama. And I'll never forget election year. Every single election year when you were in office, it was a huge campaign, and we had bigger voter turnouts then.
We did. We broke every record in the history of the state for voter registration and voter participation during the time I served in this role. And of course, we administered 48 elections during that time. And when you're able to continue to break those records year after year after year, it makes a big difference because people know that their vote makes a difference when it comes to their participation patterns. And that's what you see.
And it does. So let's talk a little bit about that, because a lot of folks, you send me email, okay, Donna at donnasedge.com. A lot of what I'm getting here lately is I don't know if I want to waste my time getting out to vote because I'm not sure I have a voice. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, when people feel that way, it's because there's a disconnect for them. And yet, one of the things that we saw when I was a secretary, there were 3 different elections that I can think of off the top of my head that were decided by one vote in each of those races. One of them was a nomination back in 2018 for the state Senate seat that covers Lee County, part of Tallapoosa, and also a part of Macon, which was decided out of 17,600 votes by one vote. There was a sheriff's race in Clay County, Ashland, Lineville, Barfield, Millerville, down that way, and that race was a tie and resulted in one vote because there was a flip of the coin, as according to statute. And then there was another one down in Houston County. There was a school board race that was also a tie. Of course, the ones in Clay and the ones in Houston were less votes involved than the one over in Lee and Tallapoosa and Macon, but still, it shows that every vote counts.
It does. And one of my friends is a Democrat, ran for office a couple of decades ago. And so she missed it by, I think it was like one vote. She found out 3 of her kids did not vote. Can you believe that? And so you and I have talked about that. That must have been some interesting Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Oh, no doubt.
Day
Or you could say 3 of her former kids decided
I
not to vote.
can't believe they told her. I would have just said, don't tell Mom we didn't vote. Just don't tell it. But it was missed by her own family members. So every vote is super, super serious, and you are making your voice.
Surely, 100%. And that's the way for your impact to be felt as you continue to move forward in trying to assist your elected officials and those that hope to be in understanding what the issues are in a campaign.
I can't think of a better example to your own kids. I mean, you've got to show them. So my parents, I've told you about this, it was one of those mixed up kind of relationships. So she was a Republican, Dad a Democrat. You better believe they went. I even quizzed them about that when I was a teenager. I said, why are you doing this? Because you're canceling each other's vote out. Well, they were both stubborn enough to go.
Right.
My input is going in there. So I grew up thinking everybody voted, John.
Well, and you should, because your parents set a great example for you, and that makes all the difference in the world, is what a child has grown up with in their home, and understanding of what representative government actually means to their parents, and that's how they have their foundation laid.
I also made my own voice. So when Daddy Bush and Clinton were running, I voted for Ross Perot. I just liked him because he was a businessman.
Oh, yes.
Oh, but what got me about him is he had some employees who had been kidnapped. Do you remember that?
Yes.
He didn't want to wait on the government, so he went in and hired his own crew to rescue
Yes,
them.
he
You remember
did.
that? That's when I said, I'm voting for that guy. But I didn't tell my parents until decades later. But anyway, I did. I just thought he would be a great vote. You have to follow your heart, and know what your core values are. You need to know what the core values are
Well,
for
and
candidates.
look, Ross Perot is a great example because he was an outstanding American patriot, and his only desire was to do what was best for the nation. As a matter of fact, his son, Ross Perot Jr., is a strong advocate and a strong advisor to President Trump. I actually met him at the White House at the signing of the U.S. Canada-Mexico trade agreement back in 2017. He is just such a patriotic American, just like his dad, who he didn't fall far from the tree.
I was going to ask. I'd like to know more about that guy as well. So let's talk about how we find out information about a candidate. How do you find out what the core values are?
Well, look, it's always best to have a chance to meet the candidate, to interact with the candidate, to have an interaction with the candidate so that individual can explain to you what he or she actually believes and why they think they would be the best person to serve you in a particular role. But when you're not able to do that, then we have so many more venues today and avenues today to get access to information that we didn't have before, whether it be the internet, whether it be social media through the internet, whether it be telephone calls or printed materials. There's all kinds of ways that we can access data today to help us be prepared to know for whom we should be voting in that primary or that election.
Yeah, but should you really depend on Facebook?
No, but it is a way for
It is
you
a
to
way.
figure out, because that's one of the ways that you need to get information. It's just like people ask me, well, what news sources do you use? And they're amazed when I tell them that I watch CNN like I do Fox News, but it's important to get different perspectives, so that helps you determine what direction you need to go in believing what's been presented to you, because they're going to have different perspectives, and somewhere in the middle of that is the truth.
You got to find it.
That's
you gotta
right.
Find it. So let's talk a little bit about respect for candidates, okay? And so when the last president we just had was president. I did call him president. I didn't just throw out his last name. Nothing like that. Two different planets when it comes on beliefs
Sure.
as to what he believed and what I actually believed. But I still believe there has to be an element of respect. You still got to call somebody whatever Alabama
Well, look,
Secretary of State,
as you
John
just
Merrill.
said that, I think it's important to think about a statement that President George Walker Bush made. I guess this was right after President Trump started his second term, and someone asked him, I noticed many times during the 8 years that President Obama was in office that you, even though you didn't agree with him politically, you often failed to comment on his leadership or his leadership style. I don't see a lot of your statements related to President Trump. And he said, let me explain something to you. He said, this is a hard job. And he said, because it is a hard job, it does not need to be made more difficult by a former president expressing his concern about how you're deciding what you're going to do or the decisions that you have made. And he said, I want all of our presidents, whether it's a Democrat or a Republican, to be successful because I want what's best for America. And so we need to make sure that we're supporting the individual that's in that office. And he said, the office is more important than the person that's occupying the office. And when you get a message like that from a former president of the United States, you need to respect that, and you need to respect the leadership that they're still providing in their role as an advisor. And I love George Walker Bush. I think he's a great patriot. I think he always wanted what was best for our nation. And to hear him say something like that, when it would be so easy to condemn or to actually provide commentary that was negative toward any office holder that followed him, shows what kind of man he is.
No, totally agree with that whatsoever. Let's talk about how folks can actually, once in office, and I know your door was always open, and but I want to talk about how you can actually get your message to the person you're voting for once they're in office. Let's say you would like them to work on a particular bill. There are many ways you can do that, but can I start by telling you how I do it?
Sure.
There's a thing called a fax machine. Some of you young people don't know what in the world that is. It makes this really annoying sound, and that's how I like to do it. I want to tell you, they're going to hear from you and a handwritten card because nobody does that anymore.
That's right.
So think of ways other people don't do it. Okay, go.
Well, and look, the best way to do it is by having a personal interaction with the office holder or with the candidate and explaining to them and expressing to them your concern about a particular topic or a particular issue. But often today, it's more difficult to do that. Alabama's a state of 5 million people today, and so it makes it harder for you to have that personal interaction. But in lieu of that, you can use the fax machine. You can use the internet through an email. You can use social media, whether it be Twitter or whether it be Facebook or whether it be LinkedIn or some other platform that you've chosen to express your views on. But I think the thing that you have to remember is they are inundated with messages. So what you do to make your message unique and make your message be more specific to them on a particular topic means more to them and their team when they're trying to respond to you.
Well, there's an amount of respect as well, because I've seen some of you guys out there on the campaign trail, and you're yelling, you're screaming, and nobody's going to hear you that way. Be very respectful. Raise your hand when they ask you if you have any questions. That's the best way to do it. You may find out you agree with that person more than you thought you did.
Well, I think it's also important to remember something that my first grade teacher told us many years ago, which is
a couple years ago.
Nobody ever learned anything when they were talking.
True.
And you don't. Now, you're always concerned about how people are receiving information that you share with them, but you don't learn anything when you're talking. You only learn when you're listening.
My teacher used to say, you got 2 ears and 1 mouth. There's a reason for that.
That's right. Take advantage of it.
Yeah. Let's go into a commercial break. We're going to be right back in just a few minutes. Twin City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. You know, finding the right home isn't just about bedrooms and square footage. It's about comfort, security, and the feeling you get the moment you walk through the door. That's why so many families across Greenwood and the Lakelands area trust Jenny Ferguson with Keller Williams. And I'll tell you from personal experience, Jenny was my realtor, and she truly cares about her clients. Jenny takes the time to listen, to understand what matters most, and to guide you every step of the way, whether you're buying your first home, upgrading, or ready to sell. Because this isn't just a transaction, it's your life. With local knowledge, personal care, and a commitment to getting it right, Jenny Ferguson makes the process simple and even enjoyable. So if you're thinking about buying or selling, now's the time to make your move. Call Jenny Ferguson with Keller Williams in Greenwood today and take the next step toward a place you'll truly love coming home to. Shine your style at Kiss My Glass right here in the Anderson Mall. There's a place where style meets sparkle. At Kiss My Glass, every piece is handcrafted, custom designed, and made to shine just like you. Owner Beth Gibson brings creativity to life with stunning custom tumblers, gifts, and one-of-a-kind pieces you won't find anywhere else. Look for the perfect gift or something uniquely you, from bold and glamorous to simple and elegant. There's something for every style, so stop by, get inspired, and leave with something unforgettable. Kiss My Glass inside the Anderson Mall, Anderson, South Carolina, where your sparkle begins. Be sure to check out Kiss My Glass on Facebook for updates and specials and gift ideas. Good afternoon, Sunshine. Medical Minute brought to you by Dr. Chuck with Lakeland's Chiropractic, where an ounce of prevention is worth what? A pound of cure. So what is the Beamer? Okay, now the Beamer uses very gentle pulse to electromagnetic signals. This will stimulate healthy muscles and it supports the temporary blood flow. Now let's talk Beamer and circulation support. Now the Beamer gently supports natural circulation in healthy muscles. Now that's what I call natural health. Thank you so much for watching your Medical Minute, brought to you by Dr. Chuck. You know who he's with. He's with Lakeland's Chiropractic, where an ounce of prevention is worth what? A pound of cure. I hope you have a super duper awesome rest of the afternoon. You take care.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer.
Yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Feazell, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Television, Radio, and Podcast Talk Show. Thank you so much for watching. We definitely appreciate that. Monday through Friday, beginning 1 p.m. on the Central Time Zone, as we get to ride home with you in the afternoon. Now, finding us on social media, like if you want to see this guy right here, John Merrill, former Alabama Secretary of State, all you have to do, go into the search engine. You want to see every show he's ever had with us. You can type in his name and my name, and bingo, you got it.
And that'll put you to sleep.
No, it won't. But thank you again so much for watching. Appreciate that. So what are you doing right now, John? I know we would love to see you run for president of the United States
you're
or
so
something.
kind. Look, December the 1st, I left Wagner Engineering, where I had been for 3 years. And during the time that I've been there, I had also started working with an LLC that I created called Morning in Alabama Consulting, where I helped constituents in our state, also in other states in the union, on issues that were important to them, including but not limited to issues related to elections, voting, voter registration, all the things that were significant to them that I have some level of expertise in, but also being an advocate for constituents and general friends that might have some issues with other parts of DC or Montgomery where they need some help navigating that process, including but not limited to the Internal Revenue Service, Treasury, anything doing with regulations that could impede you being able to be effective in a business area. And so just next week, the week of the 27th of May through the 27th of April through the 1st of May, we're going to be in Washington with some clients, helping them as we meet with U.S. senators, as we meet with members of Congress, and as we meet with their key staff, talking about those very topics that I just introduced. And so it's been really good. It's been a little different because
is anybody doing this?
Well, there are people that do that also do it full time, but a lot of those people have dedicated accounts, people that they work for, that they only work on certain topics in certain areas. Whereas we're bold enough to believe that if we don't have an area of expertise in that particular field, our contacts will allow us to reach out to the people we need to touch to help our clients be successful in what they're attempting to do.
Let's talk about the IRS. Nobody wants that dreaded letter. So let me tell you what happened to me a few years ago. So we were living in Charlotte, North Carolina, lived there for 9 years, and we moved back to Alabama. And this was in 2013. And so we get this letter from the IRS telling us we owe $10,000. Well, the first thing I want to do is get on the phone, and you jerks, that's the first thing you always think about. I'm just a human, just like you are. But I had to sit back and think about it. Granddad always said, count 100 backwards before you put your, put in your mouth. Always do that. So I did. And what you have to realize is the person who answers the phone did not do this, okay? They did not generate this letter. They did nothing like that. And if I'm upset, I'm not going to hear, you may come up with some kind of a, in the IRS department, may come up with an idea for me to get this handled. Well, long story short, I was nice. I called him, yes, sir. And I said, no, sir, on everything. I did not yell, done nothing like that. I found he worked with me easier. Come to find out, I didn't know it at all. All I had to do was send in some W-2s of employees. That's all I had to do.
That is great.
And they took that off. But I think it's because I didn't yell and scream.
Well, look, you have to remember that those people just have a job to do. They're trying to do it to the best of their ability so they can be supportive of those people that they report to as well. And when the constituent calls in and demonstrates the kind of behavior that you did, it makes it easier for them and they don't forget it. This is funny, but not. It's the same kind of thing that happened when I left church yesterday and I was going to go to a softball game, see Alabama play, and then I was going to go to a funeral after that. And I thought I'd go home and get something to eat, and then I got as far as Kentucky Fried Chicken, and I pulled in there. And so while I'm in there, the lady, I said, I want the 3-piece, and she said, okay, what do you want? What kind of chicken do you want? And I said, ma'am, whatever you give me, I'm going to eat and enjoy. And so when I sat down to eat, she gave me 2 chicken breasts and a nice big wing, and I was like, Lord, I couldn't even eat all of that. I had to take it home with me in addition to what I had, but it was just because of the way I responded to her, because people are always being so intense in their responses that they want what's best for them. And look, she smiled when I said that, just like that guy did that you worked with, because he knew that you were just trying to figure out how to solve your problem.
I got audited one time. Okay, and I was very young, had my first business, and scared to death. I didn't know what to expect. I'd seen a movie like 2 weeks before and it's a movie, for goodness sakes. Don't base your life on a movie. So a team of people come in, they take over this person's house, they're going through everything they have. It was nothing like that. As a matter of fact, it was in Anniston. I was living there. Had to go to the city meeting center and got the letter and went down there, and I'm scared to death. I'm like 25 years old. And so I have all my folders and everything is in, every folder the way it should be. And I handed them to, again, yes, sir.
Right.
No, sir. Yes, sir. I was like that with him. Absolutely. I don't think he even looked at it because he called me and said, come and pick your materials up. So I came by and they were sitting in the same spot. And I said, are we okay? And he said, you don't know anything. He said, it's just an audit. I had to look at it. And he said, however, some people throw things, they don't even put it in the folders. They just throw it on my desk. That person, I'm probably going to give them a hard time.
Right.
He told me that. And I said, because I was kind. And he said, well, you had everything together.
It matters.
It was organized. That's another thing people don't understand about it. Have it organized and ready for the person so they have the least amount of work to do. You're going to come out on top, I promise you.
100%.
Is that what you're looking at,
No
too?
doubt.
You hear that?
That's right.
Absolutely. Okay, so how are you helping folks out there with what you're doing?
Well, it depends on what their needs are. First thing you have to do is understand what their needs are. I had a gentleman that I had a previous relationship with. He reached out to me, and this is when all the tariff things started, so it was a little bit over a year ago. And he said, I need to see the president. And he knows that I have a relationship with the president. He knows I have the president's cell phone number. He knows that I can get an appointment with the president. And I said, tell me why you need to meet with the president. And so he started telling me what his concerns were, and I realized he didn't really need to meet with the president. He needed to meet with someone that could influence what was currently going on with the president's policy related to tariffs. And so we were able to set up a meeting with a U.S. trade representative at the White House in Washington, and that helped accomplish his task and met his need. And that's what we need to do is, not just like telling you don't, first of all, you don't need to meet with the president. And secondly, the president doesn't have time to meet with you. We don't need to tell him that. We need to be helpful to him. And so that's what we were able to do. And we were able to get his situation resolved. As a matter of fact, one of the things that ended up happening with him was what we've just recently seen, where some people had to pay the tariffs that the Supreme Court later said you should not have had to pay the tariff. And I explained to him, this is very well what may end up happening, and now it has. And so beginning today, people are receiving refunds that they had to pay the tariffs when all of that started a year ago.
So, I mean, there's a solution for everything. You just need to know how to present it and have somebody like this guy to do it. How can folks be driven to do you have a website?
We do. It's Morning in Alabama Consulting, LLC. You can call me on my cell phone at 334-328-2787. And as you know, I've always given my cell phone number, even when I was serving in public office, because I think people want direct access to their elected officials, and that way it helps them be able to explain what their situation is so they can move forward.
Absolutely. Can you believe 30 minutes has flown by?
It always does when I'm with you.
Does. Always. And thank you so much for watching. You're the reason we do what we do. Continue sending email. I love them. I cherish everyone. Donna at donnasedge.com. Donna at donnasedge.com. Thank you to all of our sponsors, Twin City Used Cars, Wild Burger. Have you ever had a Wild Burger?
I have not, but
They're
it
in
sounds
South
interesting.
Carolina. Oh, yeah. They give food away every Friday. So through the show. So if you'd like to be part of that and all of our other wonderful, wonderful sponsors, let me know. Donna at donnasedge.com. Thank you, John, for being on the show with me.
It's always good to see you.
As always. See you next time.
Because of your overwhelming support, our $14.88 MyPillow has been one of the biggest sales in MyPillow history. I couldn't think of a better way to say thank you than to extend our wholesale pricing through Christmas. Get a classic standard MyPillow for only $14.88. Upgrade to a queen size, just $18.88. King size, only $1 more. Get my body pillows for only $29.88. And ready? Multi-use MyPillows, only $9.88. It's perfect time to stock up for Christmas gifts for everyone on your list. Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our wholesale pricing, including my classic standard MyPillow is only $14.88. But that's not all. I'm so confident you're going to love our classic MyPillows that I'm going to extend my 60-day money-back guarantee until March 1st, 2025. Plus, orders over $75 ship absolutely free.
Donna's Designs offers a line of handmade memorial, wedding, and keepsake jewelry that launched back in 1970. I'm a self-trained jewelry designer, and I will work closely with you to create unique designs you can love and treasure for years to come. Whether that be flowers that were used in a funeral arrangement or stones you found on the beach at a memorable trip, call me at 256-659-4319, and let's think of the possibilities. Twin City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. You know, finding the right home isn't just about bedrooms and square footage. It's about comfort, security, and the feeling you get the moment you walk through the door. That's why so many families across Greenwood and the Lakelands area trust Jenny Ferguson with Keller Williams. And I'll tell you from personal experience, Jenny was my realtor, and she truly cares about her clients. Jenny takes the time to listen, to understand what matters most, and to guide you every step of the way, whether you're buying your first home, upgrading, or ready to sell. Because this isn't just a transaction, it's your life. With local knowledge, personal care, and a commitment to getting it right, Jenny Ferguson makes the process simple and even enjoyable. So if you're thinking about buying or selling, now's the time to make your move. Call Jenny Ferguson with Keller Williams in Greenwood today and take the next step toward a place you'll truly love coming home to.